people that we've helped reconnect with families. There's so many people in this room tonight, and every single one of you means the world to us. So thank you so much for being here. We're gonna move the program along. My name is Madeline. I'm the Director of Programs and Ops. Did it start?
Everybody knows.
My role is to watch the magic happen, to watch the transformation of so many lives. And so I'm truly blessed to be here with you. I'm gonna pass it over to, are they good on? So by the way, we're Zooming, we're Facebook Living, we're in the room. It's just like a whole thing. So I'm gonna pass it over to Colette, who is our chief of staff. Woo! Together.
All right.
Really exciting. And right off the bat, we have a couple people that we want to thank. You're standing in the beautiful new KQED building. Talk louder. You guys can't hear me?
That's better.
I can use the microphone. I can use my outside voice. We are in the KQED new headquarters. Huge thanks to KQED. You'll see their staff over here running around like. We also have Kaiser Permanente was one of our sponsors. Sorry, Kaiser Permanente was one of our sponsors for the Good Neighbor Awards this year. Oh, there we go. Hyatt Regency, amazing, really came through for us in a pinch. So you are staying here. Downtown San Francisco. See Robbie over there sneaking in at the last minute. More about him later. Distro Kid also in the room. Huge supporter of ours back there. Thank you so much for coming. Check out their website. Gem Marketing. She is not able to be here tonight. Big fan also on our board. West Bev back in the corner. Hopefully everyone has gotten to know them a little bit. Minerva University, all of the volunteers that you see that are helping you check in, helping you find your way, doing everything that we needed them to do, are students of Minerva and a friend of Miracle Messages. We're very thankful for their help. And then A+ Catering back there. Again, if you haven't been back there to grab the food, please go back, check it out, say hi. And I know you're all waiting for the main attraction and the man that needs no introduction. But that's it. So I'm gonna have Kevin come out and we're gonna get started. He's gonna use his outside voice.
Yes, I am.
All right.
Thank you all for being here. It feels good to not be pixelated. It's good just to see faces. This is real. It's after 3 years. Our last event was February 2020. That's a good photo. And then the world shut down. And but you know, the thing, even though this is our first time getting together in person after nearly 3 years, our work has not shut down. It's been needed more than ever. And I'm just so grateful that all of you have continued to show up, support the work. We're going to share updates. We have lots of things and news and breaking announcements that all of you have helped make possible tonight. So this was our first Good Neighbor Awards event. This is our team. We've grown a bit. As you can see, but we haven't had a chance to do photos officially with these four. But if you're a part of the Miracle Messages team, why don't you just raise your hand and let's give an applause. Go to work every day and work with a group that's just inspires me, you know. We also have a great board and we've expanded the board. If you're a board member of Miracle Messages, please raise your hands. So yeah, please say hi if you're interested in joining the board. Got a couple white spaces on the left there. Imagine. You can choose which photo. So a few updates I wanted to just share off the bat. This may not look exciting. For most of us, it probably doesn't. But we're actually bringing all of our systems into Salesforce, where we've hosted a few of the events before. And our database is all going to be just really nicely structured, clean. We have a few of you helping out with it. So Madeline's just been designing this. So even if you're like, oh, this is a spreadsheet and a presentation, what are you doing? Just for Madeline's sake, can we all just go really crazy? Wow, another one. So, I'm the founder, CEO of Miracle Messages, and I started, this work in honor of my uncle. He suffered from schizophrenia. He lived on and off the streets of Santa Cruz for about 30 years. But, I never looked at him as a homeless man because he was just a beloved member of my family. And, it was after he passed away, just started having conversations with people I'd walk by, frankly, see people as problems to be solved, not people to be loved. And this journey has been started for me, building my own capacity for empathy and also feeling of empowerment. Because I know all of you in this room care about this issue of homelessness, right? But how often do we feel like we can actually personally make a difference on the issue? And we see the problem getting worse, but our hearts, we want to do something. With this team, we've been able to build a program, Miracle Messages, helps people rebuild their social support systems, family reunifications, phone buddy program, and basic income pilots. I want to share some numbers here. As of today, we're almost at 800 family reunifications. Wow. 469 are through our case solving community. That's where an unhoused individual records a message to a loved one. And we have a team of digital detectives, volunteers that make phone calls, write letters. We'll need more digital detectives soon. How many of you have a teenage son or daughter? Anyone? You know how to find people on the internet. So we need you to volunteer as a digital detective because you know how to use the Google, right? The Google. And then or the Bing, the Bings. The Bing. None of us know how to use Twitter anymore, but And then find them is starting with our family members looking for their missing homeless relatives. Hey, my brother Bill, he's in Los Angeles. Can you find them? We've done 113 reunions of that sort, needle in a haystack. So I'm just so proud of the reunification work that continues as part of this organization. But then we also know that sometimes family is part of the problem, not part of the solution. So if our theory of change is end relational poverty as a form of poverty, how do you address relational poverty if family isn't part of the solution? We launched in partnership with San Francisco City and County during the pandemic, a phone buddy program where we have matched now over 200 volunteers all around the world, Chile, Argentina, Germany, Philippines, having weekly phone calls and text messages with unhoused individuals in San Francisco, Los Angeles, and South Florida. They've cumulatively logged over 100,000 minutes to date. Let's give it a relationship. Once you're in phone buddy relationship, we start hearing from some of our volunteers, some of whom you'll hear tonight. Hey, I want to be on equal footing with my phone buddy, but they don't know where they're going to eat, what they're going to eat tonight. They don't know where they're going to sleep. They need, $50, $100 for car repairs to get back to a work site. And that's what inspired us to launch what turned out to be one of the first basic income pilots for people experiencing homelessness in the United States. I was not sure what to expect, to be honest. We raised $50,000, gave out 14 individuals $500 a month, $500 a month for 6 months. Those 14 individuals, from that, 2/3 of those individuals were able to secure stable housing as a result of 3,000. They used the money better than we could have used it for them. They used the money better than we could have used it for them. And this is narrative change work. We're going to share more about our basic income work a little later. We have a big announcement to make. But, this is Elizabeth. You'll be hearing from her in a moment in her home. Let's give it up for Elizabeth. Housing improve, mental health, financial well-being. And just, when we leave this building, part of the work here, we're a community, Miracle Messages. but you're gonna be in conversations with people who, care about homelessness, but maybe aren't part of, a group like this. When people say, well, hey, you give people money, they're just gonna blow it on drugs, alcohol, things like that. Just look at this stat here. A third of the funding that we gave people was spent on food. Okay, a third was spent on rent, transportation, health, savings. Even on the alcohol, cigarettes, drugs, a few of those individuals bought bottles of champagne so they could celebrate getting into a new house, right? And I don't want to share all the stories and steal her thunder, but Elizabeth, she was the first recipient of Miracle Money. The first thing she did was she made a donation to Miracle Messages. And when I asked her, Elizabeth, you didn't need to do this. This was, she said, I didn't do it for you. I did it for myself. So I could once again feel the dignity of supporting the causes I believe. I'm just grateful to be able to, do this kind of work. Let's do clicker. There we go. And we got a lot of media coverage as a result of that. So now we have this idea that unhoused neighbors are not problems to be solved. There are people to be loved. This is really what drives us to do what we do at Miracle Messages. And there's actually no one else I can think of that could do a better job sharing the ethos of this work than Elizabeth and Joan. They're going to share a little of their story.
Thank you all for being here this evening, for seeing value in the values of this organization that is truly a miracle in many, many people's lives today, Miracle Messages. Well, when I think of Miracle Messages, I think of the first word that comes into my mind is trust. That there's an organization that is very different and very empathetic and reaches into people's lives and hearts so they feel valued and gain strength that they can go on, move on to a, not just a better life, but a new life. And that happened with me. And that started with this organization with my very dear friend, now Joan. I was standing in line at our daily distribution at the hotels. Thank you, Governor Newsom. Thank you, God, for that they took advantage of FEMA funds to open hotels, put people in hotels. I was in a safer place. And a woman came up to me one day with a sign-up sheet. Hey, would you like to sign up for some help? And I said, yes, I need help. But I could not imagine how that help would arrive. About 2 weeks after that, I got a phone call. And there's this strange one. New one. And it took me a while, to figure out what is going on. And that was my introduction to a life-changing event, partnering with Joan through the Miracle Friends program, which has changed my life and changes other lives. So what happened? God knew what he was doing. He partnered me with this incredible woman who's doing great work in the community here in San Francisco and abroad. And that we had right from the beginning so much in common. I'm a longtime teacher here on the peninsula. Well, I'm not on the peninsula now. I'm in Redwood City, and she comes from a family of teachers. So she gets all my teacher jokes. That's important. And just a lot of our lives is synced up, the things that we're interested in. We both are fairly good Spanish speakers. Lots of and just what we cared about, helping in our community and making a difference. And for me, the value of this door opening was a way back. It was the first step on my way back out to maybe not a normal life, but a higher life. That it was not just about me and what had happened to me when I was in the shelter and what's happening to me in my hotel, but that I could take this and use this to help people and get back to a better life. And I'm just so thankful, Kevin, for your instincts to trust. He trusts us, the people that he has created this program for. He trusts us that we can make good decisions, that we can have a better life. We can see bigger things. And just personally for me, and I want to talk, just being allowed to participate in some of the programming and activities. The highlight of which was about a month and a half ago, I was in Atlanta for a giant guaranteed income program event, conference. People from literally all over the world. And that got me to tap back into my sociology major self and just understanding systems and being able to make contributions, to this big conversation about trusting people with money. Give people money. So, and there's been other wonderful things, but I'm so glad that I've had this opportunity and just looking forward to it. Thank you.
But from the first call, as she said, we hit it off, and I signed up as a volunteer because I was suddenly holed up in my home too, feeling disconnected. I in community relations is my work, and feeling, separate from the community. So this was something for me to volunteer. Second call, we were friends. And now really one of my deepest friendships. We've done girls' weekends together, we go shopping together, we, have meals together, we laugh. We talk serious things. So this has been for
We
me.
have children that drive us crazy.
So yeah, like it definitely was such a two-way street from call number one, really. And I feel so blessed to be a part of each other's lives, and we're looking forward to many, many years as dear friends. So thank you, Miracle Messages, for bringing that.
All right, let's give it up to them one more time. We have a lot of guests of honor tonight, and you'll be meeting them. We'll be starting the awards program momentarily. It's one of the most inspiring nights of the year for all of us, hopefully for you too. But we have a distinguished guest that I'd like to give the floor to for a few minutes, Senator Scott Wiener.
Right.
Hi, everyone. That was where did they go?
Right here.
Incredibly inspiring. And I think when it comes to homelessness, and there's a lot of anger, I think, in the community because people feel helpless. People feel like the problem is just, it's so big and it's so grand, and people feel paralyzed. And so people at times become numb to it and sort of pretend it doesn't exist. And they see what's happening on the streets and elsewhere and just sort of put blinders on because they don't want to even have to grapple with what it means. And then people fall into stereotypes about what it means to be homeless, stereotypes of how people are, or that people choose certain things, and all the stereotypes that we all hear all the time. And it is just so important that we remember and that each person who's homeless is an individual human being with family and friends and a life, and that empathy, that's the beginning of finding solutions. Just really deeply understanding that. And we do the work at the big policy level. We work, and we've been investing, billions of new funds in solutions for homelessness, to create new housing, to expand various kinds of services and navigation centers and so on and so forth. But the human level, it's just the one-on-one human level deeply, deeply matters. We know that so many people who are homeless now were renters in our community. Were people who were living paycheck to paycheck, and it was that, you know, lost job or an eviction or something that happens in life. So many people are right on the edge. It doesn't take that much to tip them into homelessness. And we also know that when people lose their housing and no longer have housing, things can sort of start spiraling in a not so great direction. It becomes a vicious cycle. And so the sooner we can get people rapidly rehoused, the more successful we're going to be. And doing all that work, and our governor and our legislature, we are deeply, deeply committed to those investments. But the person by person work, it makes all the difference in the world. And connecting people to their social network, reconnecting them, or just having that human interaction so that people, you know, so many people who are homeless, it's like, because you become invisible and people just, you become dehumanized. That's what society does. And just making clear, no, you are a human being, you are part of our community. There's someone who every day thinks about you and cares about you and gives a damn about you and wants you to succeed. That matters so much, and that is what Beautiful Messages does.
Yes.
And it is that basic, not very glamorous nuts and bolts that saves people's lives. I'm really thrilled that I didn't realize that you were branching into basic income, because that is incredibly important. And again, we hear all sorts of stereotypes of basic income, and I hadn't seen those statistics before. That's absolutely amazing. It's something I think I knew intuitively, but it's great to see the actual data, because again, people stereotype, and always it goes to the worst. It's going to be the worst. We're just going to use it, you know, for bad things. And if you just trust people, that people want to succeed, and people want to be housed, and people want food, and people want clothing, and people want to have shoes that aren't falling apart. You just trust people. Overwhelmingly, people are going to do good things. And so that's why basic income is so important. It's going to take a big psychological shift in this country to sort of get people to accept that. We saw what happened before. Everything is viewed as quote unquote welfare, and all the stigma around that from the 1990s. But we know these programs work, and I'm thrilled that you're doing that. So thank you for the work that you do. It complements all the big sort of faceless work that we do, putting resources into these challenges. And I'm just so deeply appreciative and grateful. Thank you so much.
All right, who's ready for awards? Nelly, come on up. All right, so Nelly's gonna co-present this one to me. She's putting her glass down. Also, we have lots of food and drinks, so you're not rude if you get food and drinks while I'm talking. Just enjoy, okay? Our Program Partner Award. So this is basically in recognition of partners that really make a difference in our organization, that help us do the work that we do. We recognize a few people tonight. We'll give them a chance to come up and share a few words with all of you about why this work matters to them. So the first Program Partner Award, Nelly, would you like to announce it?
Yes.
Okay.
Before it's on the screen.
There we go.
With Downtown SF Partnership. Robbie is an innovator in the industry. Before I knew what a business improvement district did, I figured it was an HOA for the city, which I still a little bit think it is. Robbie is so innovative in the way that he encompasses specifically around homeless services to integrate into the cities. Sometimes it's difficult to really imagine how much one single person can make a change. but you truly had a massive, massive ripple effect in the community. And I'm just so grateful for you.
Wow. Deeply honored and touched. Again, I'm Robbie Silver. I'm the executive director of the Downtown Asset Partnership. We're the community benefit district that serve the financial district in Jackson Square, and we formed just a few years ago. And when I took on the position, I knew day one I wanted Miracle Messages and Kevin to join the team. It was just a no-brainer. Kevin and I are kindred spirits. We both have had uncles who experienced homelessness. Unfortunately, mine was never found. And I didn't want that to happen on our streets of San Francisco. So over the last year and a half, Nellie and Lindsay and Brian and Beverly have gone out and done outreach. We've reconnected 17 people in the downtown area, which is huge. And just a couple weeks ago, we presented actually Nellie with our first ever Downtown Impact Award, and our board of directors raised about $17,000. So Nellie and Lindsay can continue their work for 3.5 more months.
Amazing.
So, but you know, really, we look forward to continuing our partnership together. You can count me in as a partner for all the innovative work that you're doing. You have a friend here. So, there you go.
It's Glow SF. We're doing an amazing street light thing downtown. Let's Glow SF. Also, just other awardees, Neighbor Share, Dial Pad, 8Kit, Spokio, and DistroKid. Let's give them all a round of applause. The Find Them Award. Mark, come on up. We need you to co-present this. Okay. So Find Them, this is the needle in a haystack. How do you find a homeless Joe in Los Angeles? We actually have never advertised this service because we'd be inundated. We just don't have the capacity to meet this demand. But
We'd love to.
well, we'd love to. Mark, by training, 30 years as a digital detective, as a private investigator, and now working at Miracle Messages and helping to locate loved ones. So Mark's going to present this award.
Yeah, hey, welcome everyone. This feels more like a family reunion with people. Miracle Messages is one of those organizations that once you hear about the mission and experience tonight, there's no kind of backing up. You're part of the family. So with Find Them, we get calls and texts, moving calls and texts, thinking about what Robbie just shared about his uncle, from people like that saying, I'm desperate to find my son, my daughter. I'm experiencing grief, but I don't know if they're alive or dead. So we try to find them, and it's incredible, but we're very successful at doing that. And one of the reasons is because of the awardee tonight, Liz Bruley, who is so tenacious, so passionate, so empathetic. And once she learned about what we were doing, decided finding people from my laptop isn't enough. I want to go out. I want to engage with these people and help them on the streets. And she's just, no words can describe her and her passion. And I'm just so blessed to, and privileged to. Every Tuesday night for the past 3 years, 4 years, something like that.
3 years, yeah.
And this is the first time
We've met in
we
person.
met.
Thank you all for coming tonight. It's truly a pleasure to be here. I was asked tonight to talk about a specific case, and I'll be honest, every single case that we solve and every person that we find is super special, and I don't think I would do it justice, right, if I shared one. So what I did want to share with you guys is what we as a team have learned. And so Mark is part of the team
and there's 4 of us. So over the last 3 years ago, we started this kind of as a, let's see if this is even possible, right? Can we find not just missing people, but missing people that are experiencing homelessness and mental illness and drug addiction? And we actually are pretty successful in the sense that the slide that we gave information, I don't know, about 2 weeks ago. And so we're constantly working at that throughout the day, throughout the weeks. And it said 113, it's actually 121. So for 600 cases. But I want to share a couple of things that we learned, okay? The first thing that we learned is that not all of these stories have happy endings. They don't. However, delivering or releasing somebody from ambiguous loss at times is reward enough, and just as important as actually finding the person, right? The second thing that I personally have learned, I spent a lot of time out in the Tenderloin, is not to be fearful, right? These are your cousins, your brothers, your sisters, your mom, your dad, and they're lost, they're sick, they're mentally ill, they're drug addicted. There's all different types of reasons, right? Why these people are currently where they are. But the one thing kind of fundamentally I come back to is that as children, we're all taught how to navigate disappointment, how to navigate anger, how to navigate, someone breaking your heart. But one thing we're not fundamentally taught is how to navigate shame. But when this community is given the opportunity, they choose love and reconnection over their shame, which is huge. And the last thing that I've learned, and actually we as a group, now there's a group of 4 of us. So there's 4 of us that work these cases. I'm accepting this award on behalf of our group. Okay, I want to make that clear. Because it is a group effort. We meet weekly and we work these cases and we strategize. But the last thing that we learned just last month is even after 47 years, people can be found and they're there and they're waiting. And there's this misconception is that they don't want to be found, but we're proof that they do want to be found. And a lot of the times when you find them, they've been also looking for them as well. So thank you guys. Pleasure to have you.
One of the things that I heard, one on individual experiencing homelessness who said they wanted to record a message and then they changed their mind. They said something that stuck with me. I'll never forget. They said, I can't, I feel dirty. This internalized sense of like worthlessness. And one thing I get, it's heartbreaking to hear that, but there's also a part of me that says we can do something about that, right? We can show up, we can meet the person where they're at. We can get to know them as neighbors, not as problems. And that's really what's beautiful about the work that Liz and her team is leading. So one award, and then we have a couple announcements, and then we're almost through the program. So this is the case solving award. Gabby, where's Gabby? Gabby. I call Gabby the conscience of miracle messages. Gabby, I think was when you first met us, you were in South Florida. Do you want to share the quick?
I came on. I originally heard the story of one of the most powerful reunions I've ever heard was Juanita Huggabug.
Yep.
And I saw it on my Sunday morning local. I like to watch the Sunday morning talk shows, and it was on our local This Week in South Florida. So I hear about the story, and Kevin is on, and he's giving the interview, and Juanita's on, and I remember just standing in front of the TV like this. So at that point, I had been doing outreach in our homeless community for over 10 years. So it was almost as if I had a hot dog cart, and all of a sudden I heard about these things called potato chips. I'm like, oh my God, it was like, so, I immediately reached out and it was just the perfect fit. It was the perfect addition to something that we were already doing. We were already serving and loving on our unhoused neighbors in South Florida, in downtown Miami and in Overtown specifically. So it was just like a hand in glove, tell me what this is about. Tell me how to do this. I gotta, and I went out there and You know, the first one was the first time I talked about it, someone stepped up and, you know, it had been 40 years since this guy had been disconnected from his family. Within 2 weeks, the family came down to pick him up and I was hooked. I was hooked, absolutely addicted. It's like, oh my gosh, I've got to get more of that in my life. This is absolutely the most amazing and powerful and beautiful thing that I have ever been a part of. That it is just to be able to return a son to a mother to her children, brother to a brother. No, he's here someplace. That's powerful to be able to return this person and say, they never forgot you, that you were loved all this time. They were missing you, and here's the proof. And to be able to have a small part of that is just incredibly, incredibly powerful.
Should we present the award?
We should present the award.
All right, so the awardee for case solving, Shelley.
And I can't tell you how many times I just want to, you know, we meet about our cases on a regular basis. And if it was my mother or my brother that was out there, I can't think of anybody that I would want other than Shelley working on my case, because she treats every single one of her cases like if it was her brother, every single one. How often do you hear me say, let's just call it the Shelley Show? Because she is just so amazing and has the kindest and most heartfelt love and never, ever, ever leaves anybody hanging. I mean, the commitment and the seriousness with which she takes these cases, if she signed up for it and she's gonna follow it all the way through. No, I was busy, you know, I didn't have time. I mean, it's the level of commitment that Shelley has is just, I couldn't want a better person working on behalf of my own family than Shelley. So,
I am not a public speaker, so I'm shaking up here, so you all have to kind of bear with me. Unlike Gabby, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my story. Unlike Gabby, I had zero experience with the homeless community when I started there. I've been with Miracle Messages now for about 14 months, I think it is. And frankly, I was a Danville housewife for 26 years of being a stay-at-home mom. Not only raising my own kids, but helping to raise other families' children as well. And I always knew that when my kids were out of the house, I would do something in the realm of volunteering. That was, my career was being a mom. I didn't have another career to back on. But I have always been the kind of person that believes in giving back. I believe in sharing our time and our talents, whether it was being a room mom in my kids' classrooms all through elementary school. I did NCL, National Charity League, with both of my daughters. So that was like 12 years of volunteering. I just always knew that that was what my future was going to be. So then this thing called COVID hits. And I find that I'm home alone all day with a lot of my home. And there were no volunteer opportunities in prison anymore. Everything shut down. We were all sheltering in place. And to be really honest, I went through this little funk in my own life where I was like, what do I do now? Like, what's my next chapter? Sorry, I'm shaking up a storm. And I was so bored one day, I was browsing my neighborhood next door site. And Colette Lay was Colette. Post on Nextdoor saying, I work for this organization called Miracle Messages and we need volunteers. And I clicked through, went to the website, read all about it, watched some videos, was very intrigued. Like I said, I had zero experience with the homeless community. And I decided to ask around, make some phone calls, send some emails. I'm interested. What do I do to get involved? To preface that a little bit without going into a really long story that I've shared with a couple of you tonight, I had a little experience in case solving. My own husband had a very surprising DNA test result where I spent about 1.5 years researching, trying to find his paternal roots that we never knew existed. And so when I came on, and Mark asked and said, well, we use these search engines like been verified and white pages. I'm like, I know all about those. And have my own subscriptions to those because I didn't do that for 1.5 years. And so it just seemed like a perfect fit. And once I got involved, there was a period in the beginning where it was a little discouraging because I wasn't having successes. I wasn't getting return phone calls. I was finding people. I knew I had found them, but I was not getting a lot of receptive feedback from the families. And then finally, I had my first case where not only did I get to reconnect a man who hadn't seen his mother in probably 40 years, I got to be a part of their reconciliation phone call. They let me do a 3-way call and I got to be a part of the whole thing. And like Abby said, once you get a taste of that, you're. And so 14 months later, here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are.
And I don't know if we told you this. We'll pretend we're surprised if we did. We have one of the clients that you reunited with their family here tonight. Pasquale and Vidya, are you here?
Pasquale. I got to meet Pasquale when I first got here. So this was a huge surprise though.
Wow.
So buonasera. My name is Vidya Pasel Caverhals, and I'm the Executive Director of Italian Community Services. And this is Pasquale Molinaro, and he's a valued member of our community at ICS. So just very quickly, a few notes about this story. It's about relationship, collaboration, connection, technology, and hope. The relationship is that a person in this room who married my husband and I introduced me to Kevin years ago. I volunteered with Kevin in homeless shelters to help with this mission. So I knew about Miracle Messages. I became the executive director of a small Italian nonprofit that's been in the city for 100 years in the Casa Fugazzi building. And Pasquale is a valued member and we see him regularly at our weekly lunches. Having conversations with him, building a relationship with him, found out when I asked him, when was the last time you saw your family in New York, Pasquale? 41 years ago. Like Pasquale, 41 years ago? It's a very, very long time. And through these conversations, just learned that Pasquale had experienced homelessness in his past, currently lives in an SRO here in San Francisco, and was open eventually to reuniting with his family. And so I'm like, I know this nonprofit that this is what they do. We contact them. Texted Kevin, Kevin connected us. We had an intake conversation, and then they connected us to Shelly, who she then, within about 5 days, if not less, found Pasquale's family originally in New York. And then they called all the family back in Naples, Italy. And that was the start of this whole reunification. It took Pasquale a few days to feel comfortable to contact his family. I joined him on that first call and we connected with his family. He's a family of 8 siblings in Italy. And so sadly, his sister in New York had passed away, but we were able to connect with his family in Italy. And I was there and we had a beautiful conversation with them and trying to recognize all of his family because it had been 40 years since he's seen them last. And so I also just want to highlight technology. There's a lot of conversations. I didn't know you found Miracle Messages through Nextdoor. We downloaded WhatsApp, right? And so that's how Pasquale is connecting with his family now. And so I'm a huge believer in tech for social good too. And so just really appreciate how we can leverage tech to help our community even more. And ultimately, this is a story of hope. So it's something that I know that Pasquale is excited about figuring out how to reunify with his family at some point. But for now, we're really focused on just helping him use technology to connect with his family. So thank you, Miracle Messages, Kevin, Shelly, and the whole team that helps with this hospital.
Thank you, everybody, to make this happening. All of my family history, they want to say to you, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Side, it's not always difficult. And you know, for someone, literally when I read about Pasquale's case on our website and I decided to take it on, the first thing I did was I Googled his sister's name.
Hmm.
And like within moments, her obituary. And which wasn't what we were hoping to find, of course. That was the hard part about it, but it was a beautiful obituary. She was a well-loved woman with a big family. And it named, in that obituary, it named the names of her children. It named the name of her husband, who Pasquale had been able to give us as well. So I was able to use that to cross-reference. And it's amazing how simple it can sometimes be. But we were so lucky too, because his family was so receptive. And it's kind of funny. I mean, they bombarded me with messages as soon as I reached out to them. I would go to bed at night with a text message from his nephew Sirio. I'd wake up to messages from him. I'm in turn bombarding Vidya. They're sending me photos to share with him. Do you know his sizes? We want to send him clothing. What else does he need? I mean, it was really amazing. And then they'd apologize to me and they'd say, oh, we're so sorry. We're just really excited. And I'm like, you have no idea if every family could be like you guys, like, just how open and willing you are to accept some of Pasquale back into your family. His niece and nephew hadn't seen him since they were little children. And they're now in their 50s, 40s and 50s, but they knew about him. And it was their mother's wish to find him before she passed. So she had been looking as well. And I told his niece Maria, I said, and this made me cry. She said, we did this for our mom, and she was so happy. I said, I think she's up there in heaven looking down on all of us with a huge smile. And that somehow she was instrumental in helping us all together.
Thank you. All right, now it's Pasquale and Vidya. I'd now like to introduce Gavin, talk about impact for this evening.
Thanks very much, Kevin. A couple words that come to mind. Yeah, as Kevin said, my name is Gavin Comstock. My job here tonight is, if this is a family reunion, it could be to make it a little awkward. I'm going to ask for money. But, before I go there, I just want to say that I am deeply, deeply moved. That's sincere emotion. I found Miracle Messages about a month and a half ago through Network. I'm honored to be here with all of you this evening. Very present and grateful. Elizabeth and Joan, thanks so much for sharing your story. Pascal and Vidya, wherever you just disappeared to, it's moving. I came here tonight to share with you that we have a real opportunity. As a room, as a community, as a family tonight, it's our opportunity to raise $100,000 to further the mission and impact of Miracle Messages. And it's important that I share that opportunity with you tonight, because I came here very much looking forward to the program, and I can promise you that right now, I'm incredibly honored to celebrate with you. I'm here to be moved. It's happening. I'm very inspired right now, and I want to invite all of you that might be sharing that moment with me to join me in action. And action tonight means one simple thing. I just need you to raise your hand. In a little while, we're going to have an impact waterfall. We're going to do a paddle raise fundraiser. And I'm going to invite you to join us at a pledge level when you want to and are able. The only thing I need you to do is raise your hand. Everybody that came in tonight and registered for our event, when you checked in, we gave you a program. And on the back of that, there's a number. That's your bidder number. It helps us know who you are. We certainly think of you as more than a number. This event is clearly about the human condition and greeting each other, eye contact. But I want you to know that tonight, all we need is for you to raise your hand with your program number when you are moved to join us in this effort. All of our friends that are online that might be joining us via Zoom or Facebook Live, I want to encourage you to donate early and often. You're out there and you can start right now. The rest of us that are here in the room will begin shortly. For those of you that are joining us, we want to let you know that the work tonight means something. And for our first 50 pledges of the evening, we've got an incredible copy of The Journey Out of Homelessness, which is authored by Don Burns, which is the co-author Kevin is working with on an upcoming piece. An incredible read that I think all of us who are here and moved by the mission would enjoy. And so I just want to ask you all, as you consume the rest of this program, as you hear the stories of what this work can accomplish, I want you to come back to the moment that's arriving shortly, that we have a chance to do something about it. We have a chance to make sure that tonight doesn't pass with more inaction, and that with one simple raise of your arm, we can make an impact that will fund the work for the next year and beyond. Again, that's going to be a really exciting moment and a celebration where I'm going to ask all of you, as you've demonstrated so well, I'm going to ask you to be extremely celebratory. When we pledge tonight, I want to hear the loudest applause that we've made so far. We definitely want to shake the roof a little bit, because that is no small act. There's a few more great stories coming. It's my pleasure to be here with you tonight as your charity fundraiser.
To join me up front. So it's really hard to pick who the dedicated volunteer is going to be, because we just have so many of them. It is a true blessing to have the volunteers come out. Today, I would like to present Hannah, who's a volunteer, and her miracle friend. And I will leave it at that. Bonnie?
Well, I have the distinct pleasure of getting to introduce this beautiful woman. I'm Bonnie, and until October 15th of this year, I was homeless for 8 long, challenging years. I lost a lot of my lifelong friends. They broke up with me because I was homeless. The traumas are many, but I also received many blessings along the way. And now I have a lovely home, a view from the 17th floor. And I'm lucky enough to share it with my beautiful service dog, the Scott, shaking in the lap, along with shedding on everything. All of the help and the kindness along the way, it's easy to pick the greatest. The biggest miracle came from Miracle Friends. Miracle Messages, I'm sorry. I did it wrong anyway.
No.
They gave me a hand when I had to do many loads of mouse infested laundry, courtesy of a hotel where I was living. They helped me with my move and with the removal of a mountain of packing boxes to a recycling center. Thank you, beautiful Madeline, for all of that. But by far the greatest miracle of all was the gift of my miracle friend, Hannah. What I am certain will be a lifelong friendship and a bond. She listens, she shares her own life too, so I don't just feel like a whining problem. She helps with solutions, even new shoes to wear. In my Vans high tops, my lace dress. She makes me feel loved and cared for. And watched over. My dog loves her. And tonight she is being honored by this organization with the Dedicated Volunteer Awards. No one could be more deserving of it than you.
No, thank you.
There you go. Three.
Also very shaky, and crying. This is such an honor to be here. Here's Bonnie. We're actually matching. Come on. It's not. But along with technology being such an important part of this program, I think it actually is exactly what led me to Miracle Messages. I had been talking on the phone to my friends, who still is here tonight, my mom, my dad, about a friend of me and Stella's, and someone that's really close to my parents who was experiencing homelessness, very close to my heart. And then I think got put in my algorithm on Instagram, and Miracle Messages showed up, and I got to form a friendship with Bonnie. And I think for both of us, it's been so powerful and so healing. She gives me advice. She listens to me. We listen to each other.
My kids don't want it from you.
It's just such a beautiful thing. And I love the mission of Miracle Messages. I think connection is a basic human need, and we often overlook that. I think it's important to focus on shelter and food and everything, but we forget that people also just want to be loved and want to have someone to talk to. And that's why I'm so happy to be your friend, to be here. It's just so great. Thank you.
Thank you for everything you're doing.
We do have a few other volunteers that really have, again, it's hard to pick our dedicated volunteers because we have so many, but there's others. We have some beautiful videos we'll share on our socials later from Bruce and Sai and V and also Ilma. They've all had different impacts. So we're just so grateful for all of them.
Let's give them all a round of applause. Miracle Friends Award, there's so many we could choose. This one's really significant because my friend Johnny and Linda, if you want to come join me, if you don't mind. So Johnny was the second person that I reconnected with his loved ones. You know, when we met, I didn't realize this, but you know, he was going through a really rough time. He was homeless, met him at St. Anthony's.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, does anyone want to reconnect to their loved ones? And no one said anything. I was like, great, I'm never doing this again. And then Johnny, you know, said, no, hey man, I heard you're helping people reconnect to their loved ones. Grabbed me. 3 weeks later, he reunited with his brothers and sisters after 40 years, 35 years. And then I didn't know this, but just last year he had joined our Miracle Friends Phone Buddy program. So it's my honor to present this to Linda and friend Johnny.
Yeah.
Johnny's gonna live.
I just met Linda tonight for the first time, but we've been talking on the phone for over 2 years. And actually, she bought the shirt.
Oh.
I mean, she just dropped it off at the desk where I live, but I, you know, I'd never met her until tonight. So, yeah,
Wow.
but we've been talking for like 2.5 years on the phone. So, I mean, I was in a bad space when, and then I found Linda and kind of helped me out in my ways, you know. But yeah.
Well, thank you. I think also Kevin's story, Johnny told me in 2014 when you were the second story, and you reconnected to his family in 35 years.
Yeah.
That's what helped you get clean.
Yeah, it did. you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Meeting his
I've been
family.
clean almost 6 years now.
All of the words, resiliency of spirit, and Johnny lives it every single day. And I have incredible admiration for his resilience.
And we all probably know too, that when you give a little bit of time, it comes back in many, many ways. I've learned so much from you, Johnny. I've learned so much in our innumerable phone conversations. He's a great Irish storyteller. I enjoy listening to them very much, and we have also shared our stories together as well. I admire your loyalty to your friends, both your current friends and the friends from your chaotic past.
Yeah.
And the incredible love and admiration that he tells me about almost every phone call for his single mother of 6. And that shines through all the time. Johnny's given me permission to share a poem that he wrote in 1986 when he was incarcerated in the San Bruno County Jail for drug-related issues.
Yeah.
May I read it?
Yes.
Freedom Flight. As I look out the cell window here, I see birds circling above the ground, free, floating as high as he wants to be ever so gently free, free, free. Now, if I could trade places with that bird that soars, never to be trapped inside these doors, I'd fly high and free to unknown places, above treetops and snow-capped places, free, free, free. But I am just a man here stuck on the ground, maybe never meant to soar high and peacefully free. From sea to shining sea, free, free, free. Now, if there is a God above, only he may one day be the judge, to let me fly ever so high and gently free, above the stars and galaxies, or to burn in hell eternally, never ever to be free, free, free. Oh,
All right.
guess that.
Thanks, John. Thanks, brother. Thank you. All right, last award of the evening, but first we have a special announcement. You gotta have a drum roll of some kind. So I just wanted to announce this is the first time we haven't shared this publicly yet. It's going to be going out in the next couple of weeks. Because of the success of our Miracle Money pilot, we've been able to get a few others involved to make a basic income program happen in the state of California. We're going to be launching Miracle Money California, over $2 million. It's funded by Google.org. And then with Research USC, Ben Henwood's in the house tonight somewhere. Lead researcher, principal investigator, kind of overseeing the pilot. We're doing a randomized control trial. We'll be giving out more than $1 million to people experiencing homelessness in Los Angeles, Oakland, and San Francisco. So 1 hour a week, phone calls, text messages, get matched with a wonderful human being. And we need, I think, 300 volunteers with our Phone Buddy program. So in recognition of the Miracle Money California, which we're now announcing, I wanted to give this award to Scott and Kim, who really seeded this pilot through their own personal philanthropy, committing over $700,000 at Google.org. Unfortunately, Scott and Kim flew in, they're on the board, they flew in, they arrived at San Francisco, they weren't feeling well. They did COVID tests at the airport because they're very conscientious people. They both had COVID. So they got a rental car last night and drove immediately back. They had a chance to just see the San Francisco skyline. But what we wanted to do is, I think Scott and Kim, we'll say, hi, Scott. Hi, Kim. They're listening. I thought it would be apropos to just show a very short video of the work that Scott and Kim have enabled. This is a Phone Buddy, AJ and Jamie. And this is a little bit of their story. When I saw this video, I was floored. But Scott and Kim have enabled these two to come together and Jamie to be one of our Miracle Money Los Angeles recipients. So we're going to play this video and hope technology works.
Adnan Bayoun. I work in software in Bahrain. I actually ran into Miracle. My name is Adnan Bayoun. I work in software in Bahrain. I actually ran into Miracle Messages through someone on LinkedIn. I was still apprehensive about the whole thing, how putting two people together could have any impact. But it was really transformational, right? People in two completely different places could become friends, and I truly consider Jamie a friend, right?
I was the same way. I didn't think much of it. Little by little, you start building that bond, and it was a good feeling. And I mean, I was going through so much at the time, didn't have a place, literally living out of a suitcase. It made me feel hopeful. I remember a lot of times AJ would be like, hey, don't give up, don't, stay focused. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. He was right. Look, here we are now, I was able to find a place to rent. I've been here for like almost 2 months now. I qualified for the Miracle Money program. I mean, this whole thing has been such a blessing, and I mean, I'm so lucky to be part of it all. I'm really thankful more than anything. I mean, I'm really glad to always have AJ to talk to. I can always like text him when I feel like talking to someone. We'll spend like an hour talking about just, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really fun to talk to.
No, I swear it's really cool. We talk about your time in Mexico, everything. It's a learning experience as well. Learning from Jamie, I've learned a lot, and I think the experience has been very uplifting for both of us. Obviously, Jamie putting in effort, working, 2 jobs, like doing everything he can, and then thankfully, Miracle Money program coming in with the clutch, right? It was really transformational. Really, really humbled to be part of this program.
Yeah.
Honestly. You're doing a great thing, Madeline, honestly.
Absolutely.
It's a brilliant program.
The day is 13-hour time difference from Jamie. He's on an island in the Middle East.
Wow.
Right.
And these two have become like brothers. So it speaks for itself, but I just needed to highlight that because you can be a volunteer from anywhere.
Yeah, give it a hand. Give it one more round. The mission of Miracle Messages, in my understanding so far, it comes down to a couple simple phrases for me. I'm glad you're here, and together we can. And that's what we're about to do right now. We're going to go after this ambitious goal of raising $100,000 amongst us, which is ambitious, as I've said, but it's so achievable. It's right in front of us. And I know that between the time that we have announced to you tonight that we're going to raise $100,000, we've already been able to get that success on the road. We've received a $15,000 donation to start us off. Thank you, Scott and Kim, who are tuning in. Not a big round of applause. That's to seed the pot, if you will. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to start us tonight with a very humble ask. If there is anyone in the room that's felt moved and is able to join us and take us further on the road to our goal of $100,000 by offering a $25,000 pledge to help us bring miracles to more people around San Francisco and abroad. And if there is, thank you very much. We have and Terry, thank you very much, everyone. Another amazing round of applause. That's $25,000 given towards the success of Miracle Messages. And the door is still open, and I'd like to recognize bidder number 1. Thank you very much. Big round of applause. $25,000 pledge. As you can see, an ambitious goal becomes so attainable. And the door is still open. If you'd still like to join us, we welcome you. Give yourselves a round of applause. That was. If there's anyone who would like to join us at the $10,000 level. I see one. $229. Thank you very much, sir. Ross, thank you. Thank you so much. That's one more pledge at the $10,000 level. Is there anyone else that would like to join us at the $10,000 level? I'm happy to share with you that we do have another bidder that can't be with us tonight, another supporter of Miracle Messages that was happy to make a $10,000 pledge at this level.
Amanda Whiteman.
Yes, Amanda Whiteman. Let's give Amanda a big round of applause. I'm going to keep the train moving and ask if there's anyone that would like to join us at a $5,000 pledge level tonight. If you are with us in the room, I see bidder number 114 over here. Let's give a big round of applause. Bidder number 114. Thank you very much. Bringing hope to many. Is there anyone else that's able to raise a paddle this evening at the $5,000 level? We welcome you to join us. Give yourselves a round of applause. Go ahead. I'd like to ask at this time if anyone would care to join us with a $2,500 pledge for Miracle Messages. A $2,500 pledge toward. Very much. Nice round of applause. Is there anyone else that would care to join us in the room at the $2,500 level? Bidder number 101. I can do this all night, folks. If anybody else wants to raise their hand, I'm happy to recognize you. Thank you for making this such a success. I'm looking right now at my notes. One of them says smile. The other one says that I want to recognize two people that can't be with us tonight, but they love the work that's going on. And I want you all to give a warm round of applause. First for George Coster, who's offering a $2,500 pledge to the cause tonight. Supporter Jen McClure, please give her a warm round of applause. Now I'd like to welcome anyone who can join us at the $1,000 pledge level. If you're in the room, thank you very much. Let's give a round. The floor is still open for $1,000 pledges. Bidder number 212. Thank you very much. Talk louder, they say. That's something I don't get told often. The $1,000 level has been a raging success. Is there anyone that perhaps has been trying to get their hand out of their pocket that's just wanting to raise it? Okay, then the door is still open for any. We do have.
Gavin?
Yes.
$1,000 pledge online.
$1,000. And I see bidder number 204. Thank you. All we can ask is all that you have. I'd like to open the door for anyone who cares to join us at the $500 pledge level. $500 towards Miracle Messages. Thank you. I saw a bid card in the back, 241. Thank you. very much. And I also have bid number 147. A warm round of applause for all of them. Hey, Gavin, you trying to get in on the fun? I'd like to welcome anyone to the floor at this time with a $250 pledge towards Miracle Messages. Thank you very much. Okay. We've got a few. Let me orchestrate this beautiful moment. I have someone that wants to join us at the $500 level, if I understood.
I couldn't find this in my pants.
Number 225 at the $500 level. And if someone calls on me, bidder number 108 is joining us at the $250 level. Bidder number 233. Bidder number 128. Bidder number 112. Keep the applause slowly. Bidder number 245. Good. Do I see another? Drawing? Right in front of my friend. I'm sorry. Bidder number 109, right in front of me. We're doing so well. Give yourselves a round of applause. There's one. We're getting near the end because I'm getting cotton mouth. 140, 250. I'd like to welcome our supporters at our last pledge level of $100. Take us home. Are there any $100 pledges in the room tonight? Bidder number 209. I was told amidst that frenzy of support, bidder number 145. Thank you very much. Supporting each other and celebrating that success. I was told amidst that frenzy of enthusiasm that we received another $1,000 pledge through our online presence. Let's give them a warm round of applause. Armstrong Foundation, I was told.
Hey, Gavin.
Yes.
One of our team members, Ashley, is pledging 100. I'm sorry.
I heard 1,000. Another $100 pledge from Ashley. That's wonderful. I see bidder number 202. Thank you so much. All right, bidder number 237. Let's get it. Thank you. So this is where I'll just strike a pose for a moment. Ask you to soak that in. Feel that? Feels like fundraising, feels like success, feels like we're making a difference. Give yourselves a round of applause. That was an incredible effort. The only thing I have to say is that if you'll allow me a moment, I'll come back and share with you how we did with our goal. I know that we have met and surpassed. And I just want to say once again that I'm glad you're here. Together we can.
Final tally here in a moment. I just wanted to share that, thank you all so much. You know, it's a fundraiser in part, but it's an award show, but we need time, talent, treasure. So 1 hour a week, if any of you are interested in volunteering as a phone buddy, that's great. And we got to $100, but any amount makes a difference. I just wanted to share a quick story. At one of our first events, there's a young boy that came up to me with his father. He's a 9-year-old. And he kind of, comes up to me kind of nervously. He said, well, I wanted to give you my allowance. And it was $7. And I said, well, I'm going to take $5 and I'm going to invest it in the organization because we got to work for your investment. But the other $2 I'm going to keep with me. In any event I go to, I'm going to bring that $2 out because every dollar really makes a difference. So thank you all very much, really from the bottom of our heart to support our work. Thank you. We got drinks, we have stuff, and on your way out, but don't leave yet because we got the space for a while. We're gonna turn up the music and we're gonna, dance. Hopefully better than what I just did there. As you're going out, we do have socks from our partner Bombas. The socks are one of the best conversation starters and the #1 requested item on the streets. So sometimes when you're walking by, you don't know what to say. Couple pairs of socks. These are specifically designed for people who are not going to be changing their socks very often for unhoused neighbors. So take a pair of socks. And also we have our hotline cards. Our hotline number is very simple. 1-800-MISS-YOU. 1-800-MISSYOU. Take a hotline card, a pair of socks, and use that as a conversation starter for your neighbors experiencing homelessness. So I think we are now at the final tally stage.
Yeah. I need you all to limber up. We're gonna make some, hard not to cuss, we're gonna make some noise. I'm incredibly enthusiastic to share with you that our grand total fundraising this evening is $134,000.
All right, so this is a very last thing. You guys have surpassed the goal. Shelley, generous, and Brett, both of you.
The Shelley Show.
You want to come up for a sec? They generously have donated 4 nights. Is that right? At you want to share the beach house?
Yeah, we have a beach house directly on the beach in La Selva. When you have something to do.
Okay.
And we want to donate a 4-night stay. And all of the proceeds that from the auction we're going to do right now will go to Miracle Messages. 4-night value is $3,100. We'll take care of the cleaning fee, so there's no other cost to whoever decides to purchase it. It's subject to availability because it is a vacation rental, but who's interested?
House you have never seen. Heard of. We're planning this.
It's on the San Francisco coast. It's just south of Aptos. It is directly on the beach. You have private access. Direct beach access out here, bottom downstairs. 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. 6 up to 8.
Photos.
So that's the front, yes. This is our house.
Okay.
Here we go. This is our website.
There you go.
So
3 bath.
3 bedroom, 3 bath, directly beachfront.
Look at that view. Talk about
View
sunset.
sunset. You wake up to that view, you go to sleep to that view.
Wow. There's a great yoga class that happens on this beach
There
on
you
Sunday
go.
morning.
Jesse,
I surf
who's-
here frequently. It's a great
It
place.
is a
You're gonna
prime
love
surf
it.
spot. You see dolphins all day long. You see whales when they're in season, directly from the deck.
So
Share it with somebody that would love
Thank
to
you.
raise a little more money for Miracle Messages.
thank you. Yes. The bidding for this, we're just gonna do an impromptu live auction. So those paddles will be handy. I'll open the bidding for a 4-night stay in this beach house with all the trimmings at $1,000. So if you're interested in going to the beach for $1,000, all you need to do is raise that paddle. Start us off right here, bidder number 103. Anybody interested further in a week, 4-night stay at the beach house? Thank you very much. You're bidder number 2. I'm looking for a $1,500 bid, 103. This is how we do it. All right. I'm going 15 to 1750 now. I'm looking for a 17 bid. I've got it at bidder number 202. Do I have an even 2 in the crowd?
It's worth 3,100 for 4 nights. Do it.
Miracle Messages work is worth more than that. I've got it at 2,000.
Going once?
Going once. Going twice. And we've sold. All right. $136,600.
Was that you?
So,
I'll give you ours.
folks, we still have drinks available in the back. If you're like me, you could probably deal with some refreshment. We encourage you to stay around and celebrate, get to know some of our fellow supporters.
Well, that's gonna take us off.
And a huge thank you, please, to Gavin, who saved and thank you very much.
I was outside, don't do it.
I load up.
And we're not going to far, but 3 hours.
I know.
No, that's